Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jess. I'm a third grade teacher in Southern California, and today is going to be another vlog of a day in the life of a third grade teacher. So I'm just going to walk you guys through kind of what I'm doing and pick you up when I can and show you what we got going on today. So, I haven't actually told you guys yet on YouTube, but this year I am actually taking on a couple new positions at my school, extra positions, not changing third grade teacher. So I still am a third grade teacher, but I am also my grade level chair this year, so I'm like the team leader. I'm also the tech coach and then the social media coordinator. So it's kind of like a lot all at once. This year we got a new teacher in second grade. She's not new to teaching. She's been teaching for like 14 years, I think she said, but she's from another district near us. And so in her old district, they didn't have a lot of technology, and we have a smart board or a smart TV in every classroom. And as you can see, I have a smart TV. So some of you guys were like, oh my gosh, you have a TV in your classroom? No, it's like a smart board. So we're not here like watching TV and watching movies. It's to do all of our stuff. So like instead of a projector or something like that. So one of my duties as the tech coach is to reach out to new teachers and see if they need help with any of their technology. And it was a little, snooze that. It was a little bit intimidating at first because I'm like, oh my gosh, I am not really like super techie, I don't think. And the reason I took the tech coach position is because my principal wanted me to do the social media position, because obviously I know a little bit about that. But she kind of bundled it together and I was like, oh, okay, I'll do my best. And so I went to this new teacher yesterday and I was like, I don't know everything, but you know, if I can't figure it out, I'll go find someone who can, and we'll figure it out together. And she had some questions about her smart board. And like I showed you guys earlier, I have the TV. So I was like, ooh, I hope I can help her. And so I don't know if you guys use the same programs. This is the only district I've worked in, and we all have ActivInspire. So I don't know if that's like what you guys have too. But basically it's a system to make flip charts and to be able to annotate on your TV or your smartboard or anything like that. So I went in there to help her yesterday. We got her smartboard all calibrated, and then she was trying to figure out how to do something specific on a flip chart, and I was like, I don't know. So I went to the teacher next door, asked her for help. She came in and showed us how to actually like screen grab through ActivInspire, so that we can grab things that we need from like the Wonders website and just grab it and paste it into a flip chart, so we can just go through things and we don't have to go back to the website and try to find it every time. And my mind was just blown, because when I'm in front of my students, I didn't know how to do that, and so I would just have to go search for the things. I have things written down on paper. This is my lesson plan for the day of what I'm gonna go find on the Wonders website. That's not super smart. That takes a long time and it's not easy to access. And then also sometimes our internet goes down. So when that happens, I can't access the materials on there and we gotta figure something else out. So I am going to show you guys, if you are not sure how to use ActivInspire. I never got any kind of like training for it when I started here, and so I've just been doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing, and it turns out I'm missing a huge chunk of what I can actually do on this program. So this will probably be of no use to you if you don't have a smartboard or if you don't have ActivInspire, but if you do, I'm hoping that this will be helpful for you so you guys can see how to grab things and paste them into a flip chart. It's really easy, and it's pretty much changed my life overnight, so I'm excited to share this with you guys. Okay, so this is what my flip chart looks like. It's just blank. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come down to the toolbar and you're gonna click on the little blue screen with like the hammer and the wrench. And then that's going to make this little circle pop up on whatever you had behind that. So behind that, I had this little chart from our Wonders website, because this is what we're going to use during our reading today. So once you have up what you want to put on the flip chart, you're going to go over to the little toolbar. You're going to hover over the camera, and then this is just what the teacher showed me yesterday, so I don't know what any of these tools are. It looks like they're the same thing but just different shapes, but I'm just going to grab the rectangle, and it will put this rectangle on your paper for you, or whatever you have showing on your screen. So I'm just gonna move this little box out of the way, and then you can use these squares to make it bigger, basically to lasso around whatever you are trying to grab. And then once you have that, you're gonna come back over to this little box you have and click clipboard. That's basically what you're gonna use to use the cut and paste feature. So basically you just cut that. And then you'll come back over to the circle, and you're gonna go back up to the ActivInspire logo, and that will return you to the flip chart. And then you will right click on the screen and hit paste, and bam, it's here for you. And if it's too big, you can just double click it and then use these little circles on the side to adjust the size to whatever you need. So it looks like that's still a little too big. I'm gonna make it a little smaller. It's hard to do holding a camera and doing this at the same time. And I'm just gonna actually make it a little bigger to cut out that 90 at the bottom because I don't need that. So here, do a little more. There we go. And now I have a page of my flip chart. And so I've done that with a couple other pages so far. So if I go back up to the beginning, we're going to start by editing this punctuation in this letter. Then I can just flip over, whoops, to my vocab practice. Then we can flip over to the spelling practice. And then we can get right into our reading. So this is going to make it so much faster, so I don't have to go find these pages on the reproducibles online on my Plan for Wonders. And I'm really excited about it. So I thought I would share that. This might be something that everybody knows, but it definitely was not something that I know. So I hope that that is helpful for you guys. And then if you don't have ActivInspire and you're wondering like what this is, so basically this toolbar on the bottom allows me to be able to write on things. So if you click this little pen button, then you have all these colors. So I'm going to change it to pink. And then I can write directly on the screen. Obviously I wouldn't write like that, but if we're going to, no! Why did that just delete? Okay, so it turns out I have to erase it. Okay, so that's new. So I used to just be able to press this red reset page. Oh, it's reset page. So I thought it was deleting all of the writing, but it turns out it's deleting everything on it. So I will just have to use the eraser every time. That's okay. Good to know. See, I'm learning as we do this together. So I'm gonna click the pen button again. And so, wow, I was so happy to hear your good news. Okay, cool. Here I can add an exclamation mark. And that way the students can help me annotate directly on the screen. I thought that was pretty cool. I had also mentioned to you guys in my last vlog in the Day of a Life of a Teacher that we are in the CERN model in my district, which I don't know if everywhere that's what it's called or if that's just what my district calls it, but the whole half and half during math time. So I always have a small group, and by small group it's like 12 or 11 students, but that's smaller than the whole class. But basically I teach my math lesson twice, and the group that's with me, we're going over the lesson from Engage New York. The group that's not with me is on CERN on that same lesson, and then we switch. So the idea is that they are all on that same lesson, but of course, as you know, students don't all work at the same pace. And so some of them might be a little bit behind, but that's okay. They don't have to be where we're at in the lesson because they're gonna get that concept development with me. But the cool thing about this is that they're able to get what they need. So say we're on lesson 5 and they're still on lesson 2 on CERN, that's okay because they're not ready to move on yet. So they're still working through lesson 2, getting what they need to help them catch up, if that makes sense. And then I also shared this yesterday, but I'm just gonna briefly tell you guys, we do an exit ticket after both groups have done the lesson with me. So basically I'll just put up one problem on the board. The exit tickets are already made from Engage New York, so I don't have to create it. And then they just take a sticky note, write their name, solve it, and then stick it right on the TV where the exit ticket is posted. And then that same day, I'll just quickly take a look at them. I don't grade them. I don't give them like a score. They don't go in the grade book at all. I just look at who has it and who doesn't, and it's really easy to tell. And then I'll just pull those students back for a small group that day. So not only are they getting the concept development with me every day in a small group, they're also getting a second time hearing that same lesson in a different way from the teacher on CERN. Then also if they weren't understanding from the exit ticket, they get immediate that day help on that lesson. So I like this a lot better because it gives me a lot more opportunity to work with more students. But I needed some way to keep my students accountable for how many lessons they've passed a week. So we are doing 3 to 4 lessons a week. Most weeks are gonna have 4 lessons and then 1 flex day. The flex day is their time to catch up on CERN, and then I'm pulling back a lot of small groups, and it's more small. Hold on. My alarm is going off. Not more small, but the exit tickets each day could have, you know, 5 students, it could have 10 students. And then the one that I'm gonna be pulling back on the flex day, I can do 2 students or 3 students because I have a lot more time, if that makes sense. And then usually on that day too, they'll be doing a topic quiz. So it just depends where we're at on how many lessons and basically where the topic quiz is in those lessons. If you don't use Engage New York, that might not make sense, but that's okay. That's not what I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you is this little chart that I have behind me on our door. So this was a free download from the CERN website. And the top one says, I'm ready to go grow my brain. And then each of these little clips has their class number on them. So once they pass a lesson, they will just unclip their clothespin and move it down to 1 lesson. Ah, okay, I'm already seeing this is gonna be a problem. This is something I just put up this morning. And they're just on little magnet clippies on the door, but it's not super sturdy, so I need to figure out how I'm going to put that up. I'm thinking that might be an issue to have it on the door too, because obviously there's a lot of action going on at the door, and so that might fall. But we don't have a whole lot of other space to put it, so maybe on the whiteboard. But what I wanted to show you guys was this is a way to keep my kids accountable for how many lessons they're passing a week. This doesn't correlate to, like, you know, the first lesson, the second lesson. This is just 1 lesson for the week, 2 lessons for the week, 3 lessons for the week, and then 4 lessons or more for the whole week. So it's not like lesson 1, lesson 2. It's just the lesson that we've done this week. So this week it's going to be 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then every Monday the clips will go back up to the top because each week they need to pass that number of lessons. And then if they get down to 4 lessons for the week, then, oh my goodness, do you hear those kids screaming outside? It's before school right now, so they're all crazy playing outside. But if they get to 4 lessons a week, then I'm just going to give them a raffle ticket and they can write their name on it. And then I'm thinking maybe on, I haven't decided yet, maybe Fridays, maybe randomly, I don't know, when it gets full. I haven't really decided yet. I've never done this, so I just kind of, I'm going to play it by ear and then I'll keep you guys updated on what I decide. But they're going to pull a raffle ticket and then they will have the opportunity to earn free time, extra recess, lunch with a teacher, something like that. I like to give out free prizes, things that don't cost me money, because as you guys know, we don't make a whole lot of money and definitely not enough money to be buying prizes all the time. So that's not something that I prioritize. So I don't do, you know, physical prizes, but I think things like lunch with the teacher or getting to do something that they wanted to do means more a lot of the time anyways. So this again is a free download on CERN. I can't remember, I think it's just in like the resource tab. If you can't find it, it's definitely on Pinterest, so just search CERN chart or something like that. So I'm gonna go move this and then I'll show you guys some other stuff. But while we're here, actually, I want to show you guys this little sign. This has been on my door for a couple years now. Or not a couple years. I put it on there last year. One of my coworkers shared this with me. So I have this on the door and the kids can just point to whichever one they want in the morning, because I usually just give them a high five, but some of them might want a hug, but some of them definitely don't want a hug. Some of them just might want a fist bump or a handshake, and I want to make sure that they are greeted in the way that makes them feel comfortable and makes them feel welcome. And so I have this up and they get to decide how they are greeted every morning. But every morning I stand here at the door and welcome them into the classroom with a big smile and tell them I'm happy to see them and good morning, and they get to pick one of these things. So very simple but very easy way to kind of build that classroom community and that relationship and show them that you care about how they feel and what they want. So I don't remember where this came from. I don't even know, because one of my coworkers shared it with me, so she could have made it. I don't know. I'll try to find it if I can though. Okay guys, I realized in my last vlog that I started to talk about this, but it was the second week of school and my mind was just like so frazzled that I completely lost my train of thought and moved on to something else. So this is how I track house points. I'm going to do another video all about the house system, so if you're not familiar with it, stay tuned. But it's basically kind of like the Harry Potter houses where students are working together to earn points. So this is how I track the house points. The shields are from Miss Fifth, and then I just hot glued them onto these frames that I got at the dollar store and just put a piece of paper of that house color inside of it. And then I put on there their house pictures. This has the students' pictures on it. I'm going to quickly turn them around. This is just on with these little Velcro dots, but as you can see, the picture frame is not flat. It is kind of like divoted, so this isn't working super well. It's not staying all that well and they keep falling off, so I might have to find a different solution for that. But I just wanted to explain to you guys what the different picture frames are for, because I realized the other day as I was editing that vlog that I just moved on without talking about it. So that is what those are for. And then over here we have our learning target and success criteria, which for right now I only have math up, so I need to go actually put our ELA standards for this week because it is now Tuesday and I still don't have them up. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I want to show you guys a really easy way that we were taught to find the learning target and success criteria if you are using Wonders. So I know there's a ton of stuff in here. So basically what I did is we're on day 2, we're on Tuesday. So to find the vocabulary strategy learning target and success criteria, I'm going to go to the page it's on, T92, And then over here, they have the objectives. So I just pick whichever one we're gonna be using. So we're gonna be using that first one. This right here is the Common Core Standard. So for our learning target, we're gonna be able to use sentence level context as a clue to the meaning of a word or phrase. I always have to put the standard because that's just something that we are expected to do in our district. And then on this page where it's showing for the day what they're going to be doing, the your turn part, that's what they're actually going to be doing. So if they understood that standard, then they should be able to do this part as the success criteria. That's how they'll know that they're successful, if they can find context clues and figure out the meanings of the word woven and gazed. So I just want to share with you guys where I'm getting these learning target and success criteria. And yes, we do have to change it every day. And yes, it is a pain, but also it helps keep us on track and helps the kids understand what they're actually going to be doing and how they're going to apply what they're learning. So I do know that it's a pain and it takes a long time, but it's also super meaningful. Again, this is our second year using it, and so the first year we were just kind of surviving. So by unit 5, I believe, maybe 4, I think for 4, 5, and 6, we already have the learning targets created for the whole unit. But for 1, 2, and 3, we don't. So I'm gonna have to create them every day and then just write them down in a Google Doc so that we have them for next year. Our learning target and success criteria up for the day. The math one is going to stay the same because that's still what we're working on today. And then I said that these change every day. Typically the ones on the left hand, the learning target, which is the standard, will stay the same because we don't use that many standards in 1 week. Typically we're focusing on the same standard, but obviously the success criteria is going to change because we're reading different stories, we're looking for different things within those standards, and we're using different pieces of text to find that. So yes, it does take a little bit of time, but I think it is really valuable, and it's definitely something our district is focusing on right now. So I appreciate that they did a lot of training on us to help us figure out how to find those. Otherwise, this would take a lot longer if we didn't know where to look for them in our teacher textbook. So I hope that helps some of you, especially if you guys are using Wonders. Then here are the learning targets for day 2 of Unit 1, Week 2. I also wanted to share one last thing. I found these free on a blog. If you just search in Pinterest how to find a good fit book or the 5-finger test, then both of these will come up on a blog and they're a free download. I just have these stuck on with magnetic tape so I can easily move them if I need to. And I have this on the side of my library so that when students forget, they can just easily remind themselves how to pick a book without using AR. And then here's a little visual for them of exactly how many words should be on a page that they don't know and how to tell if it's a good fit. So one word on a page that they don't know means it's probably a little too easy. 2 or 3 probably means it's a good fit or just right. 4, they might need some help, but they can try reading it, and then if it doesn't make sense, they'll put it back and get a new one. And then 5 probably means it's too hard. So this is just a little visual that I put out so that they can check themselves and they don't have to come up and ask me all the time. And especially in the beginning of the year when it's new to them and they aren't used to using this style of picking a book, this is really helpful for them. And last year I had made them bookmarks, but as you guys know, kids are kids and they lose them. So I thought that if it's something that they need to use all the time, that this here would be a good help for them. Also later today, I'm going to be either putting down here underneath that hand poster or up on my reading wall where I showed you guys in my last vlog, those posters from Amy Grossbeck. I'm going to be changing either those out or just putting it down here, a little paper of what goes on a sticky note so they can remind themselves what they're supposed to be putting on the sticky notes for a book chat. So I will show you guys that chart when I make it. Hello again, it is now recess, and I wanted to share how a couple of things from that flip chart I showed you guys earlier went, and a couple ways that I tried to make it a little bit more interactive because I like sharing those kind of things with you guys. So one, I'm gonna flip you around actually. This was the first thing I showed you guys. It is that letter. We are adding the exclamation mark, question mark, or period for the 4 different kinds of sentences. So instead of having a student come up one at a time where everyone's kind of bored, I had them help me read it out loud, and then we had different gestures for each. So what I mean by that, if it was a period, then they all like put their fist out as if they were like punching like a period, like just like a dot, making a dot with their fist. And then if it was an exclamation mark, then they put their arm up. And then if it was a question, they made like a hook. This was cool for 2 different reasons, or 3 actually. 1, because I could see who was getting it and who wasn't really easily. 2, they were all really engaged, and 3, it helped them get a little bit of movement. So we did that for that one. The next one, we went over the vocab words, and so we did the vocab words on the cards yesterday. So we use these cards, these are from our curriculum. So I say the word, they say it with me. I'm gonna put it down so you guys can actually see it, so it will focus. Come on, there we go. Okay, so I say the definition, give them the example, and then the part that says ask, so like this one, name one time you felt pride in something you did, I just have them turn and tell a neighbor, and then I just kind of join in conversations periodically. So they got these words yesterday, and then this is one of the reproducibles on the Wonders online portion that we're supposed to go over with them. So basically there are 8 sentences, 1 for each of the vocab words, and they're true or false statements. So the first one says, you show courage when you are too scared to overcome something. Obviously that is false. So instead of, again, just going over one by one or telling the answers or having one student tell me, I wanted them to get a little bit of movement. So by the door was true, by the library was false. So I had them start in the middle area, and then I read the sentence out loud. If they thought it was true, they went by the door. If they thought it was false, they went over by the library. If they weren't sure, then they just sat on the stage. And then the students who weren't sure, I would ask them like, okay, you show courage when you're too scared to overcome something. What does courage mean again? Remember the example from the vocab card? It was the firefighters show bravery when they go to work. Why is that brave? Because they're risking their life. So what is another word for courage? Bravery. So if you are feeling brave, then are you too scared to overcome something? No. So that means that it is false. You should be in the library. And so kind of like talking out loud with them. And then again, I was able to see who didn't get it. And I think they were pretty honest because several times they were kids sitting on the stage. So they weren't just like necessarily following the crowd. And then on sentences where all of them went to one side or the other, then I just had one person explain to me why, and I would just call on someone randomly. So that was a really easy way to get them up and moving. It almost kind of served as like a brain break too, because there were 8 questions, so they were kind of back and forth, and then every time in between questions, so after we solved one, then I would just have them go wait in the center of the room again. That way they could move to one side or the other, and also getting a little bit more movement, and it was just fun. So even though we were using one of the worksheets, I didn't have to create anything. I just kind of turned it into like a little interactive game. So yeah, I just want to share that with you guys. I'm gonna go eat my snack, and I will pick you guys back up later. Okay, the chart that you guys just saw me make and put up is hanging up on the shelf in my library, or right outside of my library. And so I wanted to share with you guys why I'm using this and where I got it from. So this is actually like a carbon copy of a poster that I saw on Just a Primary Girl's blog. And basically it was perfect for what I needed, so I just copied it directly. and I just stuck it up here with magnetic tape. So basically, anytime my students are reading, they're using sticky notes to track their thinking, because readers are thinkers, and building students who are thinking while they're reading is really important to me. So these are all the things that I teach my students to look for while they're reading, and teach them to use their sticky notes to track. So I will show you guys where I have a box of sticky notes, and then all my students donate that at the beginning of the year, and then I will buy some from like the dollar store as the year progresses. But basically, they have sticky notes anytime they're reading, and anytime they come to a part that's funny or confusing, or they want to share with me in a book chat, they will write it down on a sticky note, and they can use these think marks to help them kind of track that. So on the sticky note, they can write LOL and then write why they thought it was funny, or just kind of like whatever they want to share with me about that part. You know, why it was funny to them, or if it made them think of something that their brother did, or, you know, something like that. And I have bookmarks that are similar to this, not exactly the same, but the same idea. But I was finding that my students, you know, are losing them, or we needed a reference point in the room. So I just made this really quick, and I, again, have it up in my library so that, you know, anytime students are reading in class, they have this as a visual if they don't have that bookmark, so they know what goes on a sticky note. And then I will get up and show you guys where I have those sticky notes. So this is right over here by my turn-in bin. So I just have a little box. The box is from Target Dollar Spot, I think. And there's all different kinds of sticky notes in here. The big pads, I will just rip off like, I don't know, that many, maybe like 30 or so, because they don't need a big old thick pack. They will definitely lose that. And then they are free to come up and grab these whenever they run out. So it is an expectation of my class that they are bringing both their book and their sticky note back and forth from school and home, so that they can read for homework, and then also they have the book they're reading at school as well. And then bring in their sticky notes so that whenever they're reading, they have their sticky notes to put down those think marks. I have quite a few things to do right now, so I'm gonna end this vlog here, and I will pick you guys back up probably tomorrow, maybe another day, for another vlog. But I need to get a bunch of stuff done. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that something in this was helpful to you, and I will see you guys soon for another video. Thank you so much. Bye.